Yay, okay. Hi, everybody. This is Val Heart, the Real Dr Doolittle, with the Animal Talk Coaching Show. And today we've got a wonderful guest, Cindy Brody, and you're going to love this show. We are talking about, our topic is crossing over the Rainbow Bridge, death, dying, and our beloved animals in transition. So before we get into our topic, I just want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing. The mission and goal of this show is to reach and teach 1 million animal lovers around the world, because I believe that when we do that, we're going to change the world as we know it. So thank you for aligning with us on this important mission. We believe that animals are teachers and guides and healers. They're here to bless us, and we are here to learn how to recognize, respect, and revere them for the angels, the teachers, the guides, and the wise ones, the healers that they truly are. So when we do that, when we recognize them for the spiritual beings that they truly are, then they make us better people. So welcome to our world. So let me introduce Cindy. All right, so Cindy Brody, she's from Woodstock, New York. She's been talking to animals like I have ever since she was a little girl, so her whole life. She's known for her Synergy healing work, and one of Cindy's most favorite things to do is to help people with animals who are getting ready to pass away or to make their transition. You know, our lives are so entwined. They're intertwined with our pets, and they're our best friends and true members of our families. And our pets love us when it seems no one else understands us. And in their passing, tremendous loss, grief, and sadness can stay with us for a very, very long time, sometimes the rest of our life. So Cindy has been communicating with animals since she was a little girl, and she found that the messages that come from pets often contain pearls of wisdom and opportunities for transformation for us, their two-legged friends. And often she can help us find closure, especially in the case of an unexpected passing. She bridges the communication gap. She helps us know when it's time to let our animals go. So they also have a lot to tell us before they go, and also on the other side. So let's get right into it. So Cindy, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here with me.
Thank you, Val. Thank you so much for having me.
So let's jump right into it. So how do you talk with animals that have passed away? I know a lot of our animal communication students, are people who are interested in this or have suffered loss. It's their nearest, dearest prayer is to be able to reconnect and to communicate with an animal that's passed. So how do you do that?
Well, as an animal communicator, I talk to animals, and it's such an easy process. And I know that you know that everybody is an animal communicator. Each and every one of us has that gift. It's just trusting that intuition and allowing ourselves to have these conversations. So if you are talking to your dog and you're asking him what he wants to eat, if he's hungry and the dog comes running to you, that is the very basic animal communication. So I talk to animals all over the country, and oftentimes it's over long distance. People will send me a photograph of their animals, and they'll ask me what they're feeling and what they're thinking. So if I have an animal in person, it's no different than reading a photograph. When I'm talking with a dog or a cat or a horse or any animal that's crossed over, it's the same exact process. I have my clients send me a photograph where I can clearly see their eyes, and then I simply look into their eyes and see the beauty and the love that is within them. My spiritual beliefs tell me that the soul and the spirit never dies. We can always connect with that. And a little bit later, I'll talk about how our animals come back to us. So when I'm talking with a dog that is on the other side, I look into their eyes, and what I get back are thoughts, feelings, snapshot pictures like a postcard, and it's a direct connect, no different than talking to a living animal. So it's so important for us to know, and it helps us to process that our animals, when they cross over, the essence of their spirit, of who they are, is still there, and we're able to connect as well with our human family members who cross over. And the process is not difficult. It's all about your intention to reach out and communicate.
I love that. Thank you. That's really well done. And I love working with pictures too. So using that analogy is really helpful because it is. It's you connecting with the spirit. You trust and know that, yeah, and you can feel them and just engage in a conversation. They're right there.
So when I'm talking with an animal, I have a great little story. Last year, and I have to tell you, I have so many stories about dogs that have crossed over, cats that have crossed over who I connect with. But this dog in particular was pretty amazing. Her name was Maeve, and she had cancer and had lived long past her prognosis. And she had had several really, really good years. And then one night she got sick, and within a very, very short period of time, she had crossed over. And it was devastating for her people because they thought she was going to be okay, but it was so quick. So I worked with them before, and they were just devastated, and they brought her photograph to me. And the beautiful thing about working with animals who are on the verge or crossed over is you have to remember, it's much like you said, Val, they love us. They watch us. They're unconditional. They see where we trip ourselves up in life, and they see when we're happy. So when I do these readings, either at the end of the life or after, they have amazing advice for us. You know, a lot of people, it's a crazy, wild world. We're all running around, all stressed out. We give up our hobbies. We stop walking. We just do our day-to-day. And the animals are telling us to slow down, get back to the beauty of our lives, be the truth of who we are. So in these final readings, a lot of times they'll talk to us about our depression or about trips that we were going to take that we didn't take because we couldn't leave them. It's really quite amazing, and people will say to me, how do they know all this stuff? How do they know? That happened before they were even born. And what I tell them is there is no time. They know the essence, and I so believe our animals are our angels. And the more I do communication, the more I'm out teaching animal communication and Reiki and energy balancing, I know that these animals never truly leave us. So anyway, this lovely couple came in with their photograph. Maeve had all kinds of information for both of them. And at the very end, she said to me, tell them to go home, stand by the stream, and I'll give them a sign that I am okay. So they went home. It was at dusk. There was a beautiful sunset, and they said, oh, thank you, Maeve. What a gorgeous sign. And then they heard the flapping of wings, and this great blue heron flew right up the stream, right past them, within 5 feet of them. And they've lived there for many years, and they have never, ever seen a heron back there. So they said, oh, this is just so amazing. I looked up Greek, or actually it was Egyptian mythology. The Egyptians felt that the great heron was a phoenix, and that the phoenix came after death to either collect the souls to take to the heavens or to leave them behind for the reincarnation. So it was an amazing sign for them, and it really helped them to process their grief.
Wow. So, yeah, I love that. I love that.
I had someone come in last night with a sick dog, and I had helped her with her Doberman pinscher about a year and a half ago, who was also in the throes of crossing over. And she loved him so much. I call them boomerang dogs, because I knew that when he passed, he'd be coming back. And she just got a puppy, another Doberman, and it is amazing how this dog has a lot of the same mannerisms as her beloved Red. I remember when I did communication with Red before he crossed over, he had said to me, I go to work with Mom. I love my little bed. And when I said that, she really cracked up because this is a huge Doberman who curls up into a cat bed. Wouldn't you know it? Her brand new little puppy she took to work with her, there's beds all over. She's an amazing groomer. He went right for the kitten bed, the little kitty bed. That is his bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So, that's awesome. That's a great story.
Yeah. So it's so important for us all to remember and to know and to feel it with our hearts that when we say goodbye, it's not forever. You know, I am a true believer that the soul lives on forever, and I have my whole life, and that we do meet again. And, you know, I could go on for hours telling stories. I mean, I have a dog that crossed over. Before she left, she said to me, at the time I was working a lot with show horses, she said to me, Cindy, if you take care of the dogs will take care of you. And I thought, oh, isn't that lovely? And I started working more with dogs, and it was amazing. I'm not on the road as much. I still have my horse practice, but I'm so happy to be here in Woodstock. She also told me to start submitting my writing, that I would be published. This is after she died. And I've been holding on to volumes of written material, using it for blogs. And I started submitting, and I got published more times in the last year than 15, 20 times.
That's fantastic. Well done.
Yeah, well, you know, again, it's when we love our animals that we can have that kind of contact. It's the intention to want to hear their voice. So it's really important for us all to know that whether they're with us or not, they're with us all the time. They can be our angels around us. I have a client who is sick right now, and she's doing amazing. And her heart dog passed away last fall, and he gave advice for everybody, including me. But every time I work with her, because I have a small people practice doing energy work, every time I work on her, he is there in the room telling me things to tell her that she can do to take better care of herself.
I love that. They do know. They know so many things that we don't, and have access to things. So good for you. What other kinds of things do they tell you normally?
Well, you know, I had a woman who was stuck in a relationship that wasn't taking care of her. And she was just so upset, and her dog was came in very sick and told me to let her know that she needed to be happy, that it was for her health. And the dog listed all the things that she wasn't doing anymore. She was an artist, and she had stopped doing her art. Her partner, they had very little contact. And the dog said, I want you to light up your life. Honor me. Take care of yourself. And this woman did as her dog had asked, because she knew that she wasn't happy and that the relationship wasn't going anywhere. And she asked him to leave, her partner to leave. And she got back to her artwork, started working with children, walking through the woods. So I often hear when the animals who are passing, I love the end of life readings because it really helps people to know who they are personally, because it's coming from someone who loves them unconditionally. And it also helps to facilitate their empowerment through a very, very difficult transition. So our dogs are our best friends. They're there for us all the time. They are watching us every step of the way, and they just want us to be as happy as they are being with us. And I can tell you, one thing that really makes them sad is when we're not taking care of ourselves. So when dogs are passing, they will tell me things about the kids, not to worry, you know, that Joey's going to be okay, keep him involved in sports, that Jill should really be out there performing her music. And, you know, I get phone calls and clients from all over the country, and I really don't have a backstory. So I just have to go with what the animals are saying. And, you know, I always say that, in essence, my work talking to animals and animals in transition, I'm a therapist because I'm helping to bridge the communication gap so that everybody understands. And this helps so much when it's time to let go. You know, sometimes people aren't ready to let go. And sometimes dogs or cats and horses are very, very sick, and there is no hope for a healthy future. And they are very concerned, and they want to know, what can I do to help? And I've only had a couple animals say that, just let me be. Most of the time, they say, I don't want you to suffer this with me. You can help me. Animals are not afraid to cross over. They're not sad to be leaving, because I think that they have such a greater picture than we have. They know there is no beginning or end. They know that they'll come back to us. Humans fear death. Animals really don't. Animals fear our reaction to death and dying.
Well
So
said.
when
I'm
we
so glad
can,
you brought that out. Yeah.
yeah. So when we can honor them and give them amazing send-off and enjoy every second that we have left, because a lot of times what happens is the animals are dying. They're leaving us. And instead of loving them and enjoying them, we are crying every one of their last minutes with us. They want us to smile. They want us to love them. They want us to hold them. And I'm telling you, being the person who brings the messages, I feel incredibly blessed. And I feel so lucky to be able to facilitate for my clients the animals and their beautiful transitions.
Yeah, I'm so grateful you're doing this important work. I know in my practice, this is one of the types of sessions that can make such a difference in someone's life, because so often we get stuck in the grief and the pain of the loss and the end of their life, and then we can't move forward. We can't let go. We don't, when we remember our animal that meant so and means so much to us, we can't get past the pain. And the last thing your animal wants you to remember them by or for is the pain of their passing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. So thank you for bringing that out as well. I want to ask you, though, Cindy, what can you tell our viewers that will help them? So anything that they could do to, if they're in this place or they're coming into a place where they need to make a decision or it's the end of a life situation, what could they do for themselves? Anything that they could do that would help them?
Well, I was with a client yesterday who said that she hadn't been eating and she hadn't been sleeping and that she was so distressed. And her dog said, she's got to eat and drink. She is stressing me out. I am her therapy dog. I make her feel good. Now I'm making her sick.
Yeah.
So if we take the best care that we can of ourselves, also reach out and get help. There are so many amazing animal communicators all over the world now, and we're here to help you. We're here to help you through these types of transitions, whether it be adopting a new puppy, rescuing a shelter dog. We can help to bridge that communication gap for you.
Yeah.
Loving your animal and allowing it to pass. I feel sometimes that our animals hold on for us. They're actually ready to go, and people will say, oh, well, he's been sick for months. I thought he was okay. He told me to go on vacation. I was gone for a day, and he crossed. Sometimes they cross when we're not there because we're holding on to them. So, again, getting help and letting go. And sometimes, I did a fundraiser for our local SPCA last year, and I'm going to do another one. And it was for Animals Over the Rainbow Bridge. And what I did is I brought in grief counselors, and I brought in musicians, and I had people stand up. The unfortunate thing about the society is we know our animals, our furry friends, are all family members. They are family. But our society doesn't really let us grieve that. You can't take off of work. Some people can take off of work, but they don't value that. At work, I can't come because my dog passed away or my horse died. We don't allow the grieving process. So what I love about putting together programs where people can come and share their experience, it helps them, especially if the death was unexpected. If we can share our grieving, I would ask if there's any ministers watching, priests, rabbis, put together a bereavement group. People need to process their grief. They need to be heard and understood. And, if you have a life partner pass away, there's all kinds of support. So again, we are here for you as animal communicators, and enjoy every second of your animal's life, every second, and listen to that last message that they send you about taking care of yourself. It's amazing. If you sit there and think about the things that you're not doing in your life, things that you could do to make you happier, to make you more prosperous, your dog is looking at you. He knows all of those things. So, again, trusting your heart, we're all animal communicators. Each and every one of us can listen. So many times when I'm doing sessions, people say, I knew he was going to say that. And I said, yes, that's because you're doing animal communication.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
you're already connected. You're connected. You can hear, you just need to trust yourself.
just trust yourself. And I love teaching and watching that light come over people's heads. And when I teach animal communication, I tell people to bring pictures of dogs that are present, dogs that have been gone for 20 years, horses that have been gone for 20. And nobody knows if they're reading a live animal or one that's crossed over. And everybody gets the essence of the animal.
Yes, yes. Powerful.
Yes, yes.
Yay! Yay! All right. So, last question: do you think animals mourn their own passing?
I think that they mourn our mourning of their passing, but I think that when we give them dignity, nobody likes to be physically uncomfortable, and the dying process, unfortunately, sometimes is very painful. And people will often say to me, well, I really didn't want to give them more pain meds. And when we're talking quality of life at the end, please manage your pet's pain, because that is the biggest part of mourning for them, is that they're not feeling well.
Yeah.
Once they slip over, and I really believe the same for people, it is beautiful. They reconnect with those on the other side.
Yes.
That it is just heaven, really heaven.
Yeah.
It's another dimension. And I just keep seeing all these boomerang animals that come right back to us with the same temperaments, different personalities, same habits, like saying, hey, look, I'm back, I'm back.
Right, right. It happens more than we know, and I think people, it's that sometimes it can make themselves a little crazy looking for that animal. They got to find that one animal. And what do you say to that?
I always tell people, when they go out there, regardless of whether they're looking for their animal that's passed over, keep an open mind. Just go out there. It could be that your dog is not ready to come back, that your horse is still not quite there. But I really believe, if you go out there with an open heart, they will help to direct you to the animal that you need. And that animal has lessons for you. And that each time we take in an animal, again, we're healed. And it's funny because my motto, which is very much like yours, is I want to make the world a better place. One dog, one horse, one cat at a time, and all those other animals that are in my heart. So in honoring them and helping them, medicating them if they are in great pain, and letting them go, and if they need it, if they're, I lost my 19 and a half Jack Russell a couple years ago, and he was like my little man, the love of my life. And I remember when I thought he was old, when he was 15, I said to my veterinarian, I hope he goes in his sleep. And my vet says, Cindy, he's far too healthy to go in his sleep. He says, these guys, they're going to need help. And as he got to be 19 and a half, I knew he was getting closer, but I had to help him. And, I am honoring him. He taught me so much about animals and about dogs, doing my work, living my life, spreading my wings. He's my angel. Yeah. And sometimes we have to help them get their angel wings. And it's hard, but it ends the suffering, and You know, I don't know how long it would have taken Cody. He was in really bad shape, but he had had such love and good care his whole life. So sometimes, you know, it's knowing when to let go. And if you don't know, ask your friends, do you know an animal communicator? Call me, call Val, get on the internet, get the help you need. There is support for you. You don't have to do this alone. You really don't. And once your beloved crosses, mourn them. Don't let people say, but Jill, it was just a dog. It's a family member. So get the help you need and know that we're all in this together. We're all in this together.
Yes, we are, and they are such wonderful beings. They help us through this. They help us face and come to terms with our own fear of death and crossing over, and then they reconnect with us on the other side, and there is so much growth and peace and actually can be joy through this whole process, and especially reconnecting and knowing that they're still in our life, still connected. It's one of the most beautiful experiences and one of the most powerful ones that makes us better people, I think.
Oh, I think so too. I
Yeah.
think so too.
Yeah. Cindy, is there anything you want to leave us with before we close it down today?
Well, I want to reiterate how important it is to get the help that you need, to love each and every day, not just for your animals, but for yourself. Live a quality of life. You know, part of who I am, you know, I started doing this work as a 9-year-old after my mother suddenly passed away. Live your dreams. It was my dream to someday make a difference for all animals. It was my dream to be able to reach out to as many people and as many animals as possible. And I'm living my dream. And I'm really, really blessed and very, very lucky that I followed my heart. That's what our animals want us to do. And when they die, that is the message that bounces back all the time, is love yourself, live your dreams, don't limit your lives.
Yeah. So everyone, if you take that in, let the truth of it sink into your heart. That's the truth. And that is what your animals are trying to tell you, especially bringing you through this place and this time in their life. So, thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So if you want to reach me, you can reach me at cindybrody.com. CindyBrody.com. Have a wonderful day and just appreciate every moment.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So again, everybody, we've been talking to Cindy Brody at cindybrody.com. This is an episode of the Real Dr. Doolittle show from the Animal Talk Coaching Club. So if you want to get started learning how to communicate with your own animals, be sure and pick up your Quick Start to Animal Talk course on my website, animaltalkcoachingclub.com. And be sure and check out Cindy at cindybrody.com. And don't keep us a secret. Share, leave comments, give us some feedback, show us your love. We love you. We care about you and your animals. So it's our life's work to assist and to support you. All right. Thanks, Cindy. And we will do this again, I hope. And
I would love to. And Val, thank you so much. Thank you so much for getting our message out there.
Yes, you are so welcome. All right, everybody. Have a good day, and we will talk to you later. Bye. Bye.